Man, I hate making these videos. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's not going to be a nice video today. I'm going to give you the important part right off the bat. I am no longer doing regularly scheduled live streams. I'm going to explain to you in this video why that is and what that all means and some other things that I want to talk about. There's probably going to be a bit of ranting going on, so there will be chapters down below in case you just want to skip to whatever you find is most interesting. Let me just explain why. Well, to be honest, there are multiple reasons. One of them is that live streaming is just much more physically exhausting than I thought, right? I'm not one of the streamers who barely says anything and just stares at the screen. I want to talk, I want to interact with you, and it just really kills me to shout into this microphone for 3 hours on end. But honestly, that's really the least of the issues here. One big problem is that live streaming 3 days a week, that's around about 10 hours of work time per week, so 40 hours per month that I dedicate to live stream. That's 40 hours a month that I'm not working on making any YouTube videos at all. Sure, one time I tested some build stuff for the Wukong video on stream, but to be fair, it wasn't really all that productive because most of the time I was focused on answering chat anyway, so I couldn't really think about the build. That didn't turn out as great as I thought it would. And 40 hours a month spent streaming is 40 hours not spent on a video, which means that's round about 3 videos that I'm just not putting out. And that would be perfectly fine if the streams would compensate in terms of views and also financials for the loss in upload frequencies. But guess what? It just absolutely doesn't. Now, to be fair, I hate talking about finances because I know, people always will make it about, oh, you're just being greedy. But I want to be transparent here. Twitch, in the last month of regular streams, has paid me out around about 350 euros. And 350 euros is usually what one 20-minute long Warframe guide makes me in the first month after upload. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depends on how good the video is doing, of course. Now, please don't get me wrong, right? I'm not trying to make a point of, you need to pay me more money or something. That is not what I'm trying to say here. In fact, actually, you have been incredibly generous over the last couple of weeks with the gift subs, with the subs, with the cheers, with all the money that you've been throwing at me and at the stream. I just also kind of feel like there's some shady practices going on Twitch's side. On a lot of occasions, the numbers just don't add up. My analytics show that I gained, let's say, 10 subs in that stream, and on the other side it says I made $10 from subs in that stream, which would equate to $1 for me per sub. I might be completely wrong here, but to me it just feels like there's some shady practices going on from Twitch's side. Not saying that they're scamming, just saying that I feel there's something wrong. And that makes me feel extra bad for getting all those donations and subs and gift subs from you, because you do not have any idea that a lot of that stuff just doesn't end up in my pockets, but rather goes to Jeff Bezos, you know what I mean? So yeah, long story short, you have been incredibly supportive and generous in all of those streams. I'm not denying that at all. It's just that it somehow doesn't end up in my pockets, unfortunately. But if I'm being completely honest, the money is also not really the main reason why I want to stop streaming 3 times a week. The main reason is that now, for the first time since I went YouTube full-time over a year ago, I feel like I'm burning out from Warframe. I noticed recently I get up in the morning and I simply do not want to open up this game or interact with it at all, which is something that has never happened before. And I think the reason why that is with 10 hours per week spent on live streaming, that means that literally every single other working hour per week has to be spent on making Warframe videos, because otherwise this channel would die completely. And where previously, whenever I felt tired of Warframe, I would just play some other stuff for fun, maybe take a day off, or dedicate some more time on my second channel where I play Genshin Impact, to simply have a change of scene. This right now is just not possible anymore. I had to basically completely stop working on my second channel. That channel is dead right now. I barely had any time of playing games just for fun over the last couple of weeks, and all of that because I forced myself to interact with only Warframe and nothing else due to the streaming schedule. But yeah, long story short, what does that mean for you? Well, first of all, we're not going to have regular live streams anymore. I will, of course, do live streams going forward, but I'm not going to treat it as a business anymore. I'm not going to have a schedule anymore. I'm just going to go live whenever I really feel like I'm in the mood for going live. You know, that's basically the intention. I treat it like a hobby. I will inform you as good as I can ahead of time when that will be, but please understand that this scheduled live stream thing, I tried it out for 2 months, and I found out it simply doesn't work for me, which is why I do not want to continue doing live streaming in this form. For all of you who are subscribed to me on Twitch or have purchased a YouTube membership for the live streams in specific, honestly, my personal recommendation is just please do not continue paying for that. Just drop out, cancel your subscriptions, don't give me money, because I think going forward, the frequency of my live streams will be so drastically lowered that it doesn't justify any financial compensation from your side. So please don't feel obliged to continue keeping up those subscriptions. And for those of you who have a founder sub on Twitch, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, you can also cancel your subscription and you're going to keep that founder sub for in case you eventually resub again in the future. As far as I know, you do not lose that badge either way. Save that money for yourself. Now, at this point, one more thing that I want to do is, of course, give another big shout out to the entire Twitch mod team, because they have done a tremendous work to allow me to get into this whole streaming in the first place, making sure that there's a good mood in the chat, making sure that spammers get eliminated right away so that we all have a good experience. Without the mod team, it wouldn't have been possible. I wouldn't have even been able to start this whole chapter and try out streaming for myself. And I cannot thank them enough. And that neatly brings me to one more thing that I wanted to mention, because it's not all doom and gloom. I do have some positive news in this video as well, for all of you who haven't switched off already. And that is a community Discord. I think it is time that I actually get serious about it. So my plan is that after TennoCon, you know, once the summer convention season is over and I'm safely back at home, I want to start working on actually making it happen. I don't want to make any promises I can't hold. I'm just saying that at the end of summer, I want to start working on a Discord for the community where we can hopefully eventually all get together and grow together as a community and just have a good time, right? I feel that the streams have been a community gathering place for the short time that they've lasted, and I don't want to take that away. I feel that these streams had a great value to the community, and without them in the future, I think a community Discord would be a great substitute for that. So yeah, thank you all for listening to me. I hope you're not too disappointed. I know a lot of you really love those streams, and I loved interacting with you as well. It just doesn't work for me on a forced regular schedule, and I want to go forward and only stream when I feel like it, so we can all really genuinely share some good times. Thank you all so much for your support. I see you in the next video, and have a beautiful start into the week. Bye bye.